an easy opportunity to create stress for myself could be, we do that so easily. You know, if that negative core was still running through the center of me, how easily I could have panicked, oh my God, turn that into a drama, that then polluted other parts of my day, and polluted conversations and polluted relationships. So that, because we kind of do, we just drag that stuff around with us, don't we? And we, even in a conversation with someone we care about, we like being with, oh no, let me just drag this stuff in that I carried from wherever. And we just spill it all over. I was like, whoa, let me just put it down here. But we never put it down, we take it away with us too. So
don't forgive ourselves for making mistakes.
Yes. And they're not mistakes. They're not mistakes. It's the way your brain is wired. So it's about going, oh, I don't want to be going down. I don't want to be going down that pathway. What was I doing? Right. Where do I want to be going? And to begin with that slow, you know, as you say, Sharon, it's about repetition, but repetition of a new thing, when you've had this core of rock that's focused on the negative, it does begin, you need to take a little practice. And just, if all you do for now is notice when you're doing it. So notice when the thoughts are spiraling into, oh, I knew this would happen, this always happens, this person's done this, oh God, you know, whatever that thought process is, just be aware when it happens, instead of just being so immersed in it that you don't even notice it's happening until like hours later, and then you're telling someone else about it again and again and again, of how annoying it was or upsetting it was. The act of noticing it gives you that little gap, as I talked about before, of, okay, so I've noticed it, interesting. And you can park that, or you might in that moment think, oh, blimey, what would I rather be thinking or doing or feeling in this moment? Can I do something about this? Because we often can do more than we think. I'm mindful I've done a lot of talking, albeit not recorded talking. Well done, John. I knew I'd do that. So having allowed some of that to filter, do you feel it's a little bit easier to maybe come up with something now that might be indicative of being one number higher?
Say that again. Do we think there'd be what's indicative of being one number higher?
One number higher. And you did come up with something, but if you could just park that for a moment, because I will share that in a moment, because you did come up with something before. We'll come to that. But I'm just curious about Sharon and Leslie.
I think if I looked at it in terms of, I don't want to look at it in terms of work, but that's, at the moment, that's all absorbing.
Yeah.
There's other factors that need dealing with in life as well.
Yeah.
But it does spill over. And I thought, if I'd looked at it in a different way and thought, if my work life was going well, what would it look like, rather than the way it is now? And I thought I would be feeling more confident in the meetings I'm having with these young gun go-getter wannabe put down people, to stand my ground. I would be getting reports produced on time, rather than constantly worrying because other people are feeding back on them. Don't like that bit, don't like that bit, get rid of that. I'd be standing my ground saying, nope, that's what I've done and that's what I think is appropriate, rather than constantly bending what other people think it should be that makes them look better about what they're doing. So I kind of thought, I can see how it would be different. I can see how my work life would be looking different if I had a shift in how I'm approaching it. I guess it's standing firm, not bending, not yielding to people trying to make themselves look better the whole time.
And how does that feel? Just realizing that and just saying that out loud.
The door. Yes, I'll come back there in a minute. Come in, just 1 minute. Come in then. Yeah, I'll just give it 2 minutes. All right, hurry up. Sorry. No, you're fine. It's not that. I was just thinking it might be helpful if we did Leslie at the back, if that's okay.
Yeah. Leslie, Leslie's on mute at the moment. Did you want to unmute yourself? I don't know how you become muted.
Sorry,
Oh, there you
no,
are.
I muted myself because I kept coughing. No, I'm actually struggling with thinking of anything else at the moment.
Okay. So, journaling and paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
If you woke up tomorrow morning and suddenly like the paperwork vanished or something changed that you felt, oh, paperwork, great. I mean, how would you notice that shift? Is all that paperwork something you have to deal with?
Yes.
So how do you wake up in the morning and feel differently about it? What would be different? Would the paperwork have vanished? Is that the key?
I think that's one of the things at the moment. Yeah, probably. So I would have to get it done and out of the way. I suppose a negative me would then be thinking, oh, that means I can move on to something else that is still on my plate, but that's probably not the best thing to be thinking.
Well, but imagine that you did get it all off your plate.
Mm-hmm.
Then what might open up for you? What might you do if that was all off your plate?
Start focusing on something for me,
Mm-hmm.
like maybe making some time for some of these meditations, certainly doing some of the steps that my career coaching says I should be doing to help in the journey towards finding another job.
Right. Okay. So if you're
Which again it's something that I think I'm going to struggle with, which is why it doesn't feel like it would necessarily be a better number, but it moves my journey on, which is probably half a number.
Yeah. So I think when you said you focus on something for you, I really got that would be really important and really helpful. I got a sense of a downward shift when you talked about the career thing, actually. Like your energy just dropped, didn't it?
Yes,
Oh,
yes, it did. Because it's another thing that I am struggling with, and I think I've put other things in ahead of it because I'm finding it difficult.
Right. So let's remain focused on, if you were focusing on something for you, what might that involve? So it can be a small thing, focusing on something for you.
Time to do some reading and knitting or something.
Right. Like it. Okay. So now, sorry, I apologise, Geraldine, I didn't give you an opportunity. Do you mind if I share what you shared with me earlier about the things that you did come up with? So,
yeah.
Oh, you share, yeah.
Nobody else does it. I don't want my idea to go.
No, stick with the we talked about decluttering first, though. Let's just stick with that.
Yeah.
So you said that you would get the decluttering done, and you already realised that rather than overwhelming yourself with clearing an entire space, like, right, this entire room will be now decluttered, you realised actually maybe the sensible thing would be to do, one bag to the charity shop at a time, or one bag to the tip at a time. And that would be evidence of you having moved up one step higher. So now each of you have some tangible, practical things that you've thought about that might be evidence that you would be a little bit higher up the scale. Now, whether you do anything with those or not is entirely down to you. But I do want you to think about them, even if you don't commit to doing something with them. I want you to think about them. And the very act of thinking of them is about, will it take you into another thought that's more helpful or as helpful? And maybe if you can, in small parts, think, well, could I maybe do that just a bit? Could I do that? Could I read a book? Could I pick up knitting for 10 minutes or half an hour? Could I make half an hour in my day to actually do some knitting? Could I make half an hour in my day to just go, I'm not doing anything else. Don't leave me alone. I'm clearing out a cupboard. Could I do that? Could I submit one report and actually say no to someone? No, we're not changing it. Or could I just rehearse how I say that? Does that feel like, oh, it's just my speaker's not working? Are you all hearing me okay?
Yeah, you went a bit crackly, but
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I can hear what you're saying.
Does that feel like something that you might be able to take on?
I'd love to film Sharon telling them, no, I'm not changing it. I would love to see that. I mean, like, you know, one of these movies where, one of these Hollywood films where you get somebody who's being bullied or oppressed, and then they just say, no, I'm not doing that anymore. Go on, do it.
So tempting. I will feed back. I'll let you know.
Yeah, I loved, like, the language you started to use was just great, and I'm going to reflect that. I know we've only got a few minutes left, but you know, standing your ground. I loved it. You were standing your ground. You were being unyielding. You weren't bending. And I'm thinking, based on what little I know about you so far, I think, oh my God, that would just totally transform the overwhelm for you with these leakage into your personal life, leakage of hours into space that should be that holding your mug of tea and just having a conversation with your children. It would be transformative. And who, you know, would they might whinge a bit. And
the bigger and than that.
Well,
but you know, no, it's worth it.
Yeah, I'm sure
definitely gonna try.
Yeah. And how about the knitting or the reading, Leslie?
Yes, I can certainly try and do that. Even if, I go and look for a pattern and some wool, be a good start.
It would be a good start. I think that's a great start. And that's all you need to do. Just find a pattern and some wool.
Yeah, my daughter wants some cardigans for her new baby, so that's my trigger.
Yeah, that sounds good. So are you going to do that or try to do that?
I'm going to do it.
Yes. Yeah, because that would have been, in fact, it probably will be, you know, our focus probably for next week will be about putting ourselves higher up the list of priorities. Because it's a common feature. We just slip down the list. You know, the list gets longer, bigger, fatter, wider, but we're still in some kind of little footer of small print that you can barely read, that we might, you know, it's like the terms and conditions and we're right at the bottom. And it's vital that to get you back where you want to be, of feeling like this is my life, I'm functioning in it, I'm enjoying it, I'm doing the kind of things I'd like to be doing. You know, it's not that there's never stuff you don't want to be doing. That's not real. But actually feeling more in control of most of it, that the balance shifts. It has to be with you playing a bit more of a role in your own life, a starring role at least.
Mm.
Yeah. So is there, if we just start to close out with maybe one thing that you've taken away from either today or from, you know, everything we've done so far, what you can just come up with one word or a sentence or a thought, whatever. What's one thing that you think sums up what you've taken from this?
I feel a bit more galvanized. I feel as though, yes, I'm going to make a start. I'm going to do that thing I want to do, and I'm going to make a start on it. Well, I've already made a start on it, but I'm not actually doing the bit that puts it out there, you know. So, yeah.
Love it.
And that's because I'm doing it I'm going to be doing it on social media, and I'm not a big fan of social media, and that's the whole purpose of the thing that I'm doing about the letters, and yeah. So, but yes, and I've got to just stop worrying about what people might think about it, and oh, that's a stupid idea, and is she nutty? So, yeah.
What are you doing on, Geraldine? What are you doing on social media?
I've got this thing about it's been for a long time, and I was involved with some other sort of on the periphery of some other project, which wasn't really working, and I wasn't really that happy about it. It was somebody else was running it, but it's about my concerns about the increase in loneliness in the world and how social media plays a part in that.
Mm.
And although I've got to use social media as a platform, it's about old-fashioned ways of communication and trying to encourage people to write letters to each other. So
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
I've already started by I wrote to my friend that we used to write to each other all the time when we finished university and lived in different parts of the country. And I said, do you remember in the 80s when we didn't have mobile phones and we used to write, early 90s?
Yeah.
We used to write to each other, and she was showing her children this letter, and then I started, and she said to me, oh, it might be really nice if you wrote to the girls, and so they could, so I wrote to them and they've written back, and it's just such a joyful thing. And so I want to kind of it's probably not going to work, but you know, it might, and because if it can just help one person feel.
It's really interesting. I've literally been talking about this for months, and saying to both my boys, well, for years actually, that it concerns me that people have lost, they're losing memory function, they're losing writing skills, they're losing communication skills.
Yeah.
And I said, you need to find other ways in life to communicate with people other than, I talked about letter writing and how amazing it used to be to get a letter through the post. Or send one. And I'm utterly, totally agree. It's I think it's a fantastic project to do. Totally agree with you.
Don't give somebody else my idea though. I don't want somebody else.
No, just done. Well done.
No, we've got enough on our plates.
Yeah.
I'm always unemployed.
Yeah. I'm not going to be doing that. And
it's not working. I'm just
there must be something in the.
I forgot what I was going to say.
I was just saying there must be something in the air, because I was just saying how I did a podcast just last week about letter writing and its role in actually, you know, when I talk about the emotional navigation of finding a way back to where you want to be, and talking about letter writing as a pathway, a potential pathway for that. So, and
I had no idea that Shirley had done this. So she was just telling me about it earlier when we were in the rooms. I just found that really coincidental. Anyway, I'm going to look it up, Shirley.
Yeah. So any other, sorry, that was great, but anyone else have a word or takeaway that they'd like to just share quickly before we close?
I think for
I think
me, I like the.
Oh.
Oh, God, no, you go.
No, you go.
Just I think the rock image is good for me, and I've understood for years, but you know, just actually thinking, what runs through the centre of you is what will then influence everything else, how you behave, how you think about things, everything, and you will spill it out. So it's kind of checking what's going through the centre of you, and the language, how we use. I think Leslie and I were saying about that as well, the use of language and how it can shift a positive or a negative view about something.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
So it's checking out the messages that are coming through your core and actually thinking, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
That's not a very good, helpful one.
Yes, I've been trying to be more, there you go, trying to be more conscious about how I phrase things.
Yeah.
And the other thing I suppose is putting myself first.
Yes.
And looking at those simple steps to try and to do that.
Brilliant. Well, thank you all. And I got to figure out what I do about the fact that I've recorded about 15 minutes of this instead of the whole session. So, but that's my little problem for today. So I'll meet up with you all on Tuesday, as ever. I'll remind you, but you know, your number, what's happened, post the good stuff. And I look forward to the next step on your little journeys and hearing what you've been up to between now and then. Hopefully doing something nice for yourselves.
Yeah.
Bye.
No, I'm taking my son to uni on Sunday and I'm absolutely dreading it. So I'm not sure it's such a good weekend coming up. It's great for him. Great. But
where's he
His
going?
first year.
First year, yeah, Bristol.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So yeah, it's lovely for him. He's so excited. I'm just like, oh.
Going to be studying.
Mixed feelings.
Yeah.
Just the way that life, though, you've done your job, haven't you?
Yeah.
You just let them go.
If there's lockdown, you might be back in 2 weeks.
No, I know. Every university, the town that has Bristol's clear at the moment because they haven't got there. They're going in this weekend, but I'm just waiting for a couple of weeks down the line, see what happens.
Yeah.
It's a shame the country's in a bit of a state, isn't it? But yeah, sorry, you guys need to go.
No.
I won't ramble on.
No, it's fine. I think the thing with university is it's a lot tougher in that first term, irrespective of COVID, than they think. And I don't think your mothering will be done yet. For sure.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I will speak to you all next week. Have a brilliant weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you.
Thank you.
Okay.
See you all later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Good luck Sunday, Karen.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Bye.